Welcome guys. In this video we're going to learn how we can turn an object into a construct through which we can step with a for loop. Okay? So officially this is called an indexer, and this is a popular question in interview questions. So, and interviews. Okay, crank up Visual Studio, make a template, and let's type here using system. Now we're going to say here namespace sample. And now we're going to create a class. And we'll call it the indexer example, like this, like that. And you're going to say here private float. Float is a data type, like this, and then we're going to make an array of such things. And then we'll call it my array, and then we'll say here new float. Then we can say length 3, and then you can specify the entries. When you specify float entries, just put an F. You see, like that, after the numbers. There you go. And then close that with a semicolon, of course, as usual, statement. There you go. So this is a new float array. Now, to create the indexer, you use this. You're going to say public float, so the return type, and it's publicly accessible. This, that's a keyword, and then you're going to say into the INTI. All right. So this is how you're going to convert an object of this class into a construct that essentially has the characteristics of an array. Now you're going to say here get, and the get you will say, well, you have to return some values, so let me delete this. And now you're going to say return my array, and then put an I, like that. There you go. You can also use this to set, so you can say here set, and now my array. And now you're going to say I and then equals value, like that. Okay, so you can also set values this way. Alright, so that's the basic indexer, like that. Basically this construct right here is indexer, like that. Okay. Now, to make use of it, let's make sure we're outside the indexer example class. Let's type here class program, and then we're going to say static void and then main. And now you're going to say indexer example, so make an object of this class, my indexer, like this. And now you're going to say new indexer example, close out with a semicolon. And now we're going to use a for loop to go through the object. So you're going to say for INTI equals 0, and then I less than 3, and then I++, and let's walk through the object. So console.writeLine and the index, put a placeholder to place the index, stores the value, and another placeholder, period, and now you're going to say dot, comma, I, and then my indexer I. Close out the semicolon, okay? So as you can see, this my indexer has the appearance basically of an array access. There you go. And at the end, let's put down one of the basic ones, like console.readKey, for example, and close out the semicolon. That'll do for our purposes. Okay, so here's our class. Remember, we have a using system, we have a namespace, then we have an indexer example class. We have an array of 3 float values with the f's at the end. Then we have the indexer itself, which is this construct. And remember, turn an object into essentially an array so you can step through the values. So it looks like this. And then on the bottom we have an instance of the indexer example class. And then we access it this way. Alright, so give it a build, make sure it takes. Alright, so that's great, and then succeeded, debug, and let's give it one full go. So hit just start. And you see it says the index 0 stores the value 3.4, index 1, index 2 stores the value 8.9. There you go. Now to of course understand this more thoroughly, this one is worth doing with the step into feature here. There you go, so make a new indexer. Use the for loop, right, and that gets you to the top of the indexer. You see that? For each entry, check the condition, go to the indexer, get the value, right? Get the value. Then the condition will fail, and then you go to console.read key, and the display is shown here. Alright, so load this from memory. There you go. So this is your basic indexer example, and I will see you in another video. Of course, this is in the sidebar as a PDF, so that you can copy it if you have trouble seeing it on the screen. But here it is. This is this portion, and then there's the rest. There you go. So thanks very much, and I will see you in another video.